Welcome to episode 264 of the 2-Minute Warning. Today we're talking about Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts and which of the two quarterbacks are going to have a better career in the NFL. We've seen these two play as teammates in college at Alabama. Tua took Jalen Hurts' spot and kind of forced him to transfer to Oklahoma. Didn't really force him, but if Jalen wanted to start, he had to leave Alabama, obviously. Now in the NFL, Jalen Hurts took his starting quarterback's position through Carson Wentz on the bench. Tua Tagovailoa took his quarterback's position through Ryan Fitzpatrick on the bench. Now we're going to see in the NFL how these two will compete. Not that they're competing against each other, but to see who will have a better career. And Wade, what do you think initially?
So, Tua did take Jalen Hurts' spot at Alabama, but Jalen Hurts had a great career there, just as good as Tua, but ultimately Tua was the starter there. Tua, I think, is in a better situation currently with the Dolphins. I think Jalen Hurts on the Eagles, they don't know what's going on right now. I lost a lot of respect for them that last game against Washington. That wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault, but that was the coaching staff's. So that just proves
of a shady situation
that you don't know what their coaching staff's going to do. I personally like Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be the better quarterback, but in the situation they're in right now, I'm going to have to take Tua. However, he did get pulled a few times for Fitzpatrick, and who's a great quarterback, but I believe that if you're going to start, you need to be able to finish your games and not be taken out.
Yeah, personally, I think we both agree that we like Jalen Hurts if we had our own team as our franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts is our guy. But given the situation they're in, who will have the better career at this point? Yes, it's very early. Yes, they've only played several games each. Neither of them have even played a full season. But just based on the teams they are on, the Dolphins are in a much better situation. They're 10-6. In any other year, 10-6 to make the playoffs, and Tua could still be going on to a Super Bowl run right now if it weren't for the sticky situation. So I think the Dolphins just even one more season away from making the playoffs. The Eagles, they have a bad spot to make the playoffs. I think they're a long ways away. Luckily for them, they are in the NFC East, so I guess the playoffs are never out of the reach in that division. But like Wade said, the coaching staff's messed up with Doug Peterson not really having any of the players' respect. They still got to decide what they want to do with Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. Will Jalen Hurts still even play, or Carson Wentz, will he win back the starting job? And if Jalen Hurts wins the starting job and they keep Carson Wentz, that's $35 million of wasting on the bench that could be another weapon for Jalen Hurts to throw to. So there's a lot of issues for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to deal with and for him to overcome. But for the Dolphins, they're pretty much just one season away, and if not, you can even count this season to make the playoffs and make a deep run. That defense is ready. They have the number 3 overall pick. They have a lot of options for the Dolphins. The Eagles, they're in a tough spot for sure.
I thought I heard Carson Wentz wanted out of Philly.
He does want out of Philly, but I mean, it's obviously up to the GM.
So if they do get rid of him, that could open up some cap space to make a good trade, get him some more weapons. But I mean, Eagles were pretty competitive in most games this season, or in several games this season. I think just a few different things happen, and the Eagles are in the playoffs instead of the football team. So it's a close call, but I do like the spot Tua's in right now. I mean, they get a good wide receiver in the draft. Say they pick up Devontae Smith this year.
Yeah.
Really, the defense looks real solid. They get a few more weapons on offense. I think that they're going to be good, but personally, I think that Jalen Hurts is a better runner, and I think his arm looks a little bit better. His stats aren't as good as Tua's, but I just like him overall as a quarterback better. Tua's a great quarterback, don't get me wrong, but some of his decisions that he made, that I saw him make this season, were a little bit questionable. Obviously, that comes with practice, comes with playing time, so hopefully that'll tighten up. And as Jay mentioned, it's real early to tell, but right now, I would take Jalen Hurts over Tua.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts has a lot of potential, and the Eagles, that entire team does. They just have a lot of ugly things to get through first, like Carson Wentz, like the coach earning the entire team's respect back, what they're going to do in the draft. I think they should, like Wade said, either get him a weapon to throw to or an offensive line to protect him, to give him more time to throw to someone. Can't go wrong. Both are needed for sure. Defense isn't stacked, but it's definitely the one thing you can leave alone on the Eagles if you had to pick one thing. Then Tua and the Dolphins, they need to stop babysitting him. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a free agent. I hope they don't sign him just for the sake of the fact that they stop babysitting him. He's a great backup to have, but if they're going to keep him and just use him as a babysitter for Tua to take him out every time he has a bad drive, I don't like that move. The safe bet, I think, is to go with Tua and the Dolphins just because of the situation they're in. They're ready to win. A good risky play is Jalen Hurts and the Eagles for sure, and I do think the potential is there. But for the safe bet, I definitely think Tua will have a better career at the current pace they're going at.
I did like that, like what you mentioned. I think that having Fitzpatrick there almost hurt Tua. It was good for the organization because he could come in and clean up Tua's mess, but Tua, he didn't have to worry too bad. They could bring the other guy in, but if he wants to start doing better, I think he needs to complete the games that he starts. I don't know how many times he's been taken out, probably 2 or 3. Twice. And personally, I don't think that's a good look, but that's also the coaching staff and having a good backup, which doesn't hurt, but I think that he needs to tighten up some of the mental mistakes. I think he'll be a great quarterback and could be just as good, if not better, than Jalen Hurts.
And honestly, in Week 17, we saw Tua perform very badly against the Buffalo Bills, losing 26-56, and he had 3 interceptions. And the only reason he wasn't pulled in that game is because Ryan Fitzpatrick was out due to COVID. I think if he was healthy and in, they would have yanked Tua for a 3rd time, and then really there would be a lot of skepticism of whether or not they should even keep Tua. Is he our franchise guy? However, in Tua's defense and in the Dolphins' hope, their offensive coordinator did get fired, but he claimed to get resigned. Either way, he's not there, and they're going to be looking for a new guy. Hopefully, he could come in and elevate Tua's game and take them to the next level. Like me and Wade both said, Hurts, if you're starting a franchise, we both think is a better quarterback. But as of right now, for the success and based on the teams they're on, I think Tua's got a better future. What do you think?
I believe that's true. They're both got tons of talent. I cannot wait to see what they do in the NFL these next couple of years.
Sounds good. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
That was a good one.